Awesome.
All right. Welcome to the Real Estate Block Podcast, where we bring on the guests to ask them the hard questions by taking a deep dive in how they built their teams, marketing strategies, systems, and processes, and how they've built a machine that spits out consistent deals month after month. Well, the value given to the show will help you find and create consistent real estate deal flow. Today, I have my special guest, Niko. What's up, my man?
What's up? What's up? Happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Aaron.
No, I mean, definitely wanted to get you on here because we're using your services. Tell us who you are. What were you doing prior to real estate? Why the heck did you get into this crazy world of real estate?
Yeah, man. So Nikhil Sharma here. My Instagram handle is my username right up here, and I'm 25 years old. I've been blessed to say I got started in real estate at 19 as a freshman in college, just getting my license in the dorm rooms, procrastinating on my actual schoolwork so I could get through the license stuff because I had an intuition that real estate is what I wanted to do, and I wasn't really a fan of traditional schooling. Um, so that's where it started at first, in terms of just getting licensed at 19, wanting to be hi, let me go show you a house, or hi, let me sell your house. And being on the retail side is cool, but being an investor using your license as a tool in your tool belt, or a broker, is a whole lot better.
Oh man. So you're skipping school. I recommend that for everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur. Now, I feel like everybody's like story is, I just blew school off and I decided to create a business.
It's funny,
no,
dude.
so,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My
no,
bad.
go on.
I was gonna say in high school, I went to a private school for football and basketball my last 2 years,
Oh,
and I
nice.
read through the handbook in terms of what was classified as a tardy versus what was classified as an absence.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, my first period was weight training, second was a gap, and because it was senior year at this point, right?
Okay.
And so I didn't need the weight training credit to graduate, and the gap was there, and I would show up 23 minutes into my, science class that I had senior year. It was like environmental science or something,
Oh,
because
wow.
if I was tardier than that, it'd be considered an absence, which I didn't want the absence on there, but the tardies worked fine. So every day I was consistently showing up around like 11 o'clock, 11:30 to school because I understood the system, and it actually got to the point where the last week of school, they told me, the dean of students said, "If you're more than 5 minutes late this last week," which was kinda pointless because it was the last fucking week, "it's an automatic ISS." So, he was my basketball coach too, so
Okay.
you can imagine, yeah. But it
No,
was
that's awesome, man. I mean, I love the rule bending. I think that's something that with even I have two kids now, and it's like I don't think I'll ever look at them in a bad way if they decide to bend the rules a little bit. I did that when I was a kid, so why would I punish them as well? Um,
absolutely.
so okay, so you find out the rules against going to school or being tardy. You were trying to get your real estate license. Did you get it right at 18? And when you got your license, what did your first deal look like?
Yeah, this is actually really funny. So and I'm big on just full transparency. I'm gonna give you guys all the game because this is my story,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I got my license at 19, not 18,
Okay.
officially, but I started it at 18. I did the online course, and so working through that took me about 6, 7 months, through McKissick. And, I even in high school, when I told my friends I was getting into real estate, kind of got laughed at. But I'm
Oh,
the type of
really?
person with a chip on my shoulder, like, let me just show you then, right?
Yeah.
And so was in a position where worked through my license, got licensed, and officially at 19, I was a licensed realtor. And when I tell you, dude, I did not do a whole lot of anything with transactions for a good year or two. Before I got into real estate, my younger sister has Crohn's disease, which
Hmm.
is a form, well, ulcerative colitis, which is a form of Crohn's. And to be honest, I was comfortable. My first introduction to business was getting her weed to help her stomach issues. To She had a PICC line in her arm, she had a PICC line in her chest. I was watching my sister die.
Wow.
Was about to have her large intestine taken out of her body, and I did my research, found out cannabis would be a good resource help with the symptoms of stomach pain, of some of the stuff of not wanting to eat and that she was going through. And so we started getting it to her. Ran myself broke at first. And what do you do when you run yourself broke? It teaches you some lessons, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
figured out how to subsidize the pack through just selling it. So would be able to give
Okay.
my sister as much medicine as she needed, and at the same time wasn't running myself broke. And that's never a sustainable career choice. And so I'm blessed to say, I did that because I had to make sure my sister was taken care of, and it gave me my first principles into real estate. And so dropped out of college once, second semester sophomore year. I was raised by a single mom, so I have Indian mom, grandparents. Dad's not very involved or involved at all, to where, they were like, when I dropped out the first time, I completely squandered my time management. I was in my head. I wasn't in the best mental state. So they're like, Beta, go back to school, engineer, doctor, lawyer, you got this. And after
Of
about a
course.
semester, you know how it goes, right? And so after about a semester of being back in school, I had this crazy idea, and you guys will hear like entertainment, music stuff that I not only want but have done and will continue to do. I had this crazy idea for a music video in August, and I said, March 2nd, 2019, we are going to film the video. I will have the song, I'll have everything done. And it was this vision in my head that I could see so clearly. And lo and behold, come March 2nd, which is the day before my 21st birthday back at the time, we had everything done. I had every single bar, club, every place in Milledgeville was letting my camera crews come through and film. We had a
Oh
shot,
wow.
we had everything we needed, and this was self-funded by me using my previous career choices, resources to kind of fund this. Right, we had multiple camera crews, got the beat mixed, mastered, did my thing. Right, and after I saw that come to fruition, I dropped out of college again because all life is bringing visions to fruition.
Hmm.
I didn't need a piece of paper to tell me what I was good at or what I could do or what I couldn't do. And so, I haven't really done much music stuff since then. Will be here soon, but created that vision or after, sorry. So vision came and I was like, all right, I'm gonna drop out again with the focus of being an investor. Was watching guys like Alex Sainez and Jalen White, so really young cats that were around my age doing it. I was like, I can do this shit. And so when I dropped out, like I said, I had the focus of being an investor first, using my license as a tool in my tool belt. And it took me 9 months from that point to even close my first deal. Um,
Hmm.
was blessed to find she's our she's the operator. She's basically like co-CEOs, but my wife, met her like a month after I dropped out for the second time, and she's been with me helping me build ever since, even to up where we're at now. And I think the message from that too is if you have a vision, it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you keep planting seeds every day. Because faith
Hmm.
without works is dead, but God's speed is so much better than your own speed sometimes. So yeah, I know I kind of just went on for a bit, but that's
No, please keep sharing. Obviously this is the part where, you kind of give it all, man. What took, because we all go through our own stories. Everybody's going through something, and people think that, everybody has their struggle, and they think sometimes that you're the only person that struggles, right? That's why I like to ask, like, where were you prior, and why the heck did you even get into it?
Yeah, man. So it's funny. I was doing the MLS strategy before I even knew what it was called. I've done
Okay.
one off-market wholesale deal in my career.
Oh wow.
Everything else, even before I knew what these big guys in CG were doing, was the MLS strategy. And so I'm 21 at this point. I don't have my broker's license. I do have my license though, and I'm acting as an investor using my tool in my tool belt. In 2020, let's fast forward a little bit because me and Shay, we started doing deals, we started getting stuff done, and we understood, even without calling it the MLS strategy, how to find the best buyers to be able to either double close, assign, novate, whatever. Novations weren't even a thing at this point, excuse me, but
Hmm.
double close or assign. And people are very important people, if not the most important piece of your business. And shout out to, he's a co-founder now, and it started as just coming on to the sales team. But Sean Freeman was my first hire after Well, let me kind of go back a little bit because I'm going too far about it. Me and Shay were partnered with somebody else. We had like a 15-man cold call operation, and it was
Oh, wow.
my business was running me. I wasn't running it. There was no accountability. There was not really many systems. We did a deal here and there, but we decided to scrap that. I let everybody go shortly after one of my brothers, it's this one right here, passed in 2020, and
Oh,
so
man, I'm sorry.
yeah, and it will, and it's I'm a big believer, and so it sucks. But I've been able to see the blessings that have come from him, Dante, just not being in the like even his spirit, what he's been able to guide. Because I went to high school with Sean, but I reconnected with him through Dante passing. Was my first hire after we let everybody go, and has been with me for going on almost 3 years now. And we've had ups, we've had downs, but the loyalty aspect and the emotional intelligence and the willingness to figure stuff out, you know, you understand this, Aaron. We're blessed to be in the position where we're at, but we're people. We're all going to have those moments where we wake up anxious, or we have an anxious moment, or just whatever it might be. And so having the accountability of a solid team, not a shitty team, but a solid team, allows, even in those moments where us as the lid messes up, them not messes up, but like needs to do better, we have our team to support us. And so from there, have been able to build just kind of one by one, right? We hired the back end guy for our dispo through my wife, she went to high school with his wife. And so we're kind of very, not even kind of, we have a lot of husband and wife couples in our organization, and have been able to build with the right accountability, slowly but surely, slow to hire, fast to fire mindset. Um, and and back to where we were at, when 22 came around, I was in a position to get licensed as a broker. Getting through all that stuff took me longer than I expected, and even getting my real estate license at 19, I failed the test 3 times. The 4th time, well, you can take it as many times as you need to, right? And so failed it 3 times, walked in there on the 4th. By the grace of God, I passed it, and of course, studying too, so the preparation was there. And the same thing happened with my broker's license. And so for anybody watching this, does not matter if it doesn't happen the first time, as long as you don't give up, because persistency and commitment will allow visions to come to fruition if you stay committed to it. And so when the time came for me to be a broker, it was kind of already the same vision of, I'm gonna have a brokerage to help facilitate deals for the investment firm. We did $1 million in revenue last year. We all kind of felt the first 2 quarters of this year, but are picking back up real nicely now. And the beautiful thing about this business is you could put 150, 250, $500,000. Our biggest client on the brokerage side, Padley, they have $1 million set to close within the next 60 days. Yeah. And so it's Ren, right? And so like, this business is an awesome cash flow business if you can set it up the right way. Of course, there's a lot of operational aspects that go into it, but it's a business that spits out cash, right? And so when the time came for me to have my own brokerage, trying to figure out the best way to put everything together, and we got to the point where we decided on our 3 subscription options: the bronze, silver, and gold, and 1 flat fee option. And we want to be a mix between the service you would get at a traditional brokerage, just without pictures, the access, and the inbound stuff in terms of communication and speed, but cost effectiveness that you would get at like a flat fee organization. And so that's how we kind of came up with our subscription model for Top Brokerage. And the cool thing is, I mean, this, being a subscriber, as we go into different markets, if you set the right expectations, you can do the MLS strategy of in any of the states that we're in, and not have to increase your monthly overhead, and operate from revenue when deals close. And so it's the best way to put it is, it's like Amazon has a seller account for household inventory. Top Brokerage has a seller account for real estate inventory.
Love it. Love it. And obviously, we're going to talk about that too. Where you kind of led into that the flat fee service that you do provide. But I want to take it way back to your first deal. You said you got your license. Was it a was it a listing or was it a wholesale deal that you spoke about on the MLS? What was your first deal?
The first money I made in real estate was actually a referral commission because I was too scared to handle the fucking deal. My
Why
first
were you scared? Like, what was so scary?
limiting beliefs, I didn't know the paperwork, all these things that just aren't
Mm,
true that you tell yourself sometimes when you're not wanting to take action. And so that was there. And then my first wholesale deal was actually $300.
there you go.
It was $300, right? And so, I'm seeing all these checks and my first one is $300, but I didn't lose um hope or faith because I know
Hmm.
what's possible. And if somebody else is doing it, I know I'm gonna get there. I don't care
Right.
how long it takes. And that's part of the reason I dropped out of college again is, respectfully, fuck a plan B. I'm either
Hmm.
gonna make this shit happen or I'm gonna die first. And that's kind of the
Yep.
chip on my shoulder that I still carry with me to this day. And I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Life is fun.
You ever read that book, The Next Five Moves? I think that's what it was called.
I haven't.
Great book. Yeah, but anyways, there's a chapter about that. But basically, using all that fuel, that bad things that happen in your life, to use as fuel to just be the most successful entrepreneur you can be. Matter of fact, we got posters all around my office, and then one poster that's in our kitchen, and it says, "Success is the best revenge." So if anybody's listening and you have somebody that you're just maybe angry with, or obviously forgive them, but at the
Yeah,
same time, if you want to really get at them, just be ultra successful, better
exactly.
yourself, right? Go to the gym, build a business, make a crap ton of money, and then guess what? That's the best revenge.
Well, and
Um,
that's oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut
no,
you
go
off.
on.
And to your point about that too, like, you know, I could look at my life and be like, "Oh, I was raised by a single mom." Like, she went through 4 divorces. I saw dad get taken off the jail in front of me, ex-stepdads, like, a lot of shit that you wouldn't want a kid to see. But how I look at it is, it allowed me to be able to understand conflict resolution and problem solving at a young age. And the other aspect of that too is, I'm diagnosed with ADHD,
Mhm.
which the connotation for me is now a superpower. That's how I'm able to have the academy, the investment firm, and the brokerage as 3 separate businesses operating under one conglomerate and use it as the perspective is that of a positive, not that of a negative too. And so to your point about, you know, leveraging, not even leveraging, but using everything in your life as something that's working for you towards your good, because I'm a big believer
Hmm.
too.
Yeah.
Um, Everything's either a blessing or a lesson. That's really it's ultimately the ultimate truth of while we're on this earth, the walk that we walk, and having wise counsel is super important too, because we're not made to be isolated. We're made to be in that of a village, that of a tribe with people that we can really share ideas and grow with, and even challenge our beliefs too.
100%. Let me ask you this, Nico. So you get that $300 first deal, which obviously could be defeating or it could be encouraging. What broke you through doing your first 1 to 2 deals to consistent? Like, what was that light bulb that got you to consistent deal flow?
It's a mix of systems and processes with talking to people. You can like a system and process is great, but if you're not talking to people, it's shit. And
Hmm.
if you're just talking to people and don't have a system or process, you're not going to be able to keep up. So the understanding of the balance of the two, um, and the law of large numbers too. If I text 10,000 people, probably going to get more leads than if I just text 100 people. And if I text 100,000 people, I'm probably going to get more leads than if I text 10,000 people. And with all the marketing tools and systems out here, how do I get as many no's to get to those yeses as possible? So that's kind of the shift that happened for me, from what got me to a deal here, a deal there, to we're doing deals consistently. We have a structure, we have a process.
What were you doing? Was it? I mean, because you say you were doing MLS deals, so were you just texting a bunch of agents?
No, no. When I say MLS deals, I'm meaning listing on the MLS during our due diligence.
Gotcha.
So we were texting. What was I doing? We had one launch control account, but it was kind of all over the place. We since then have a lot of structure to it now, but it just even me not being consistent too, right? So like that's part of it. Wholesale, and more than just wholesale, flipping deals, flipping in real estate is
Hmm.
an industry where you're only as good as your last deal. So understanding that allows you to, that's kind of why the shift happened for me, where I was like, all right, I need to be focused on my highest return on time activities, which is talking to an interested seller or talking to an interested buyer.
Yeah. No, 100%. So let me ask you this. You did $1 million last year in your real estate business. I'm not so sure what we're making in a top brokerage, but what does your team look like in your real estate business? And what does your team look like right now in your top brokerage?
So in my real estate business, I have 3 department heads. This is not including my wife, right? So I have a lead gen department head, I have an acquisitions department head, and I have a dispositions department head. Underneath the lead gen person, we have texters, data scrapers. We're adding callers. Under the acquisitions, we have follow-up specialists and property buying specialists. And under dispo, we have the dispo TC role, which I've stepped back in more so to dispo because, like I said, our first 2 quarters kind of sucked, so I needed to make some changes.
Right.
And that's the best way for me to be able to drive revenue, especially being a broker too. So I stepped back into dispo, and I have an assistant now that answers the inbound calls and coordinates access, so I can decide on offers, negotiate terms, and do those things that still allow me to be working on the other businesses and not be bogged down completely in the business, but still have the highest return on time activity. And then a lot of those people, I'm also like my hiring guy, he runs the academy, because anybody that doesn't fit for us on the hiring side, we just push them to the course. And that's an automatic lead for the academy, right? And so my department heads, I've been able to kind of utilize them in the brokerage as well too, using what they're best at. And so I have a very efficient team. It's not huge, but it's not small. And we are in the process of hiring for commission-based salespeople that want to be able to be a PBS, bring in JV leads, and also bring in their own contracts and make a higher commission for if it's a JV lead or of a JV contract, in addition to the leads that we provide them in our system.
Nice. And so I want to go back on a few of those things, but you said academy. When you say academy, what is that?
The academy is where we teach people to leverage the MLS during their due diligence, which is either going to be a JV for our investment firm or they'll turn into a user for our brokerage. So we're teaching people exactly what we're doing with sourcing these deals, setting the right expectations, and then after you set the right expectations, getting it on market, getting buyers out there, coordinating that access, and then once you get offers, what to do. Do you double close it? Do you novate it? Do you assign it? And understanding what that looks like for each situation, because when you use the MLS strategy, you're still going to get cash buyers that you could assign it to if you wanted to, or do a double close pass through fund if that's okay from an attorney standpoint or title company that's doing it. And so that's it's our digital product, our digital resource that I was kind of procrastinating on for over a year, because I never want to be the guy that says, "Hey, buy my course," and not have the credentials. But after we hit 1 million last year, when I looked at the books, I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I feel like with what I do know, I can be a blessing to people that do want to change their situation. And a lot of this narrative that's being pushed right now is wholesale deals, wholesale deals, wholesale deals. And that's great, but 99% of sellers aren't going to sell to you at that discount. But a whole lot more sellers, if not like shit, like I'd say at least 90% of sellers, if you break down your process, it sounds better than a listing agreement. Hey, give me 30, 60 days. We need access. You will see your property marketed. That's part of our corporate internal marketing process. However, at the end of our 30, 60 day, whatever that due diligence or closing period looks like, you're either going to have a closing date and we're going to close, or I'm going to send you a termination. It's not a 6-month listing agreement where, if we get an offer in way lower than where you wanted, you'd have to deal with the concessions, closing costs, still paying a commission. It's none of that, right? It's a lot more clean in the fact that you tell us what you want. If it makes sense for our offer calculator, we'll go ahead and we'll get an agreement in place. We do have liquidity to buy because a lot of these, I have one right now where I got it at 490. I'm selling it at 550. I'm acquiring it on the 3rd of July. I'm selling it on the 25th of July. The owner's doing a post possession of 30 days. We're getting a rent amount from him, and got a private money lender coming in. So after all is said and done, this is a deal where I've mitigated a whole lot of risk, and I'm going to make anywhere from 35 to 40,000 on it.
Awesome.
After paying the buyer's agent.
And I want to kind of take a step back what we're exactly talking about here. When we talk about Top Brokerage, we are talking about a flat fee, kind of not service, but you're doing a subscription based model, which is fantastic. So, but the point of it is if I get a seller under contract, and again, we're telling them all up front what we're doing by marketing it, but we're able to utilize the MLS, basically the big open market, to bring buyers to the table. And that's what you're able to do with your the value that you're giving to the marketplace and to guys like myself, where we're able to utilize to not just because if we can't get it low enough, we could still put on the MLS. And again, it's totally transparent. It's just, and obviously another name for it, if you haven't heard of it, is novating the contract.
But that's a misconception too, because just
Go on.
get it on the MLS doesn't mean you have to novate. The only time you truly have to novate is if that end
You have
buyer,
a loan.
yeah, well, not even just a loan. If the loan has a seasoning period.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So FHA, if I were to buy a property today, I could not enter into a contract with an FHA buyer. Can't even forget about closing on the deal. I can't even sign a contract with them before 91 days since I've acquired that property. So when you get deals on the MLS, if you get conventional and VA and cash buyers, you can't assign to conventional and VA, but you can double close. But with an FHA buyer, you can't, so you would novate. The other situation where novations are super powerful is if you're in a situation where you don't want to go ahead and get the transactional funding, or if you don't want to acquire it before you sell it, because you still take on a little bit of risk there, you're now in a position where you can novate the deal, not have to pay for transactional funding, show up on the seller side of the HUD as a payoff or a consultation fee.
Right.
Referred to as a couple of different things, and you save that money that you would pay a private money lender transactional funding for the acquisition on it. And so the only things that come up are concessions, closing costs, and commissions. Which
Right.
for concessions, seller credits, repair stuff. Like I got a deal right now. There was work that was done on it, and the gas line, we're doing a pay at close. The septic, we're doing a pay at close. So I'm not having to come out of pocket. I'm signing documents and playing with the numbers on paper that the attorney will then cut a check for the work that's already been done too. So it's really powerful for, when you wholesale, we'll start it right here, right? So, or we can start it here because this is on the left side. When you wholesale, you lock up the deal with traditional wholesale, and then you sell it to somebody at a discount. And 9 times out of 10, unless they're a buy and hold investor that's going to refinance that, they take it to the open market. But what if you're able to set the right expectations with your seller, cut out this guy and take it to the open market? Your spreads are going to go crazy. You're able to cut out the middleman. And then our model too is this. We are built by investors for investors. We're not bringing up agents, right? We are just owned and operated. And the only people we have from a license standpoint are brokers. And so we're able to cut out the middleman of the agent. So you have 2 middlemen in a transaction being cut out. The wholesale or the cash buyer that's an off-market buyer only. And you have the agent that's cut out, because we leverage technology with my development team to streamline a lot of what an agent would do. I'm sure you've seen it, Aaron. We have 24/7 call routing, auto email forwarding. Shit, the communication is better than some of these damn agents that won't pick up their phone.
Right. What do you have as a, let me ask you this, because we just started, but what do you have as an inbound? Because that's something we saw with other services is, we weren't getting the calls, we weren't getting the offers from inbound agents. What do you guys have for inbound offers and buyer agents calling in?
Yeah, so we have a 24/7 routing main number that's displayed, and it's the one that's syndicated across all the internet platforms. So if an agent's looking in the MLS and they see the private remarks, they can directly get your phone number. But if there's a buyer or buyer's agent that's looking on Zillow, they can call that number, and the person that answers, it doesn't matter what time it is, it's 24/7, which is really cool. They're going to provide, and we have a spreadsheet that backs up to this that they use and look off of. They're going to provide the name, contact info, and email for the I mean, if it's one of your properties, Aaron, it'd be you, right? And so that person can then, we don't do transfers because we've seen calls get dropped and stuff happen. That person is now going to call you directly. And now you have the direct contact info and can take over and do your thing from there. And we're also implementing dial pad. Where there's an IVR aspect of it too. It's a very in-depth IVR that can go above 20, 25 cells. And so we're going to be able to replace that Pat Live number with dial pad, have an IVR that as soon as you pick the property, that as soon as the buyer's agent selects, like if they hit 3, they're going to be sent the information via text, and the system's also going to spit it out. And we'll still have Pat Live as a fail-safe in case, there's any one-off expectations where they still need to get that from somebody. But, we're with leveraging technology, we're in a position to where we want you guys to get the maximum exposure and be able to have these conversations directly with these buyers and buyers agents, because nobody knows your property like you do, whether you own it or whether you have it under contract.
No, that's really good. I like that you're using dial pad. I love dial pad. I went through a season of trying different dialers for our CRM, and man, dial pad, you can't beat it. Okay, so let me ask you this. I mean, so back to your real estate business, what type of marketing are you doing now to get deals in this new interest rate spike market?
For the investment firm, we're cold calling, we're still texting. I haven't been the best with like PPL or PPC or Google ads or stuff like that. It's a lot of referrals because we do good business, and then content stuff. As much as I hate to put myself out there, you got to make yourself uncomfortable to grow. And I got a lot of people that depend on me, so I got to just get out my feelings. And even if I feel like I look like this, that, and the third, or it looks corny or whatever it might be on a piece of content, just do it. You know what I mean? And so it's I'm blessed because the operations, except for the dispo aspect of the brokerage where I decide on an offer, are pretty much running without me, whether it's the brokerage, the academy, or the investment firm. And so my job is to increase the lid. In the day and age we live in, content is that. And I'm also sitting down with, some viral marketing guys too. And, my biggest weaknesses are, because when you first start in business, it's how do you make money to pay the bills? And then it's, all right, cool. How do we grow this? And then it's, oh, okay, how do we keep track of this? And so marketing and finance are the two areas that I'm not bad at, but I'm putting an emphasis on for personal growth to become that master marketer, and then to have really, really clean books too. Because those two things, if you have a good sales team, are the difference between you being a successful company and you not.
Yeah. No, 110%. Are you doing any marketing, for the top brokerage, or are you just kind of going to the masterminds and promoting it there?
So we're doing content marketing, but we also have my marketing team. We pulled a large list of cash buyers. We're creating email marketing campaigns. We're about to start doing some text outreach stuff too. So it's for the brokerage, our ideal customer is a volume investor, volume wholesaler, right? And so we're not going to be cold calling and texting these guys. That's not really how you reach them.
For sure.
It's going to be the email marketing stuff. We have an affiliate program, which I want you to get signed up with too, Aaron, because it's a flat fee and it's not a commission. And because it's a monthly subscription that's not a commission, we're able to give you guys 10% off the people you send our way. And it's tracked automatically through Stripe. Like Ren's the one that introduced you, right, Aaron?
He was, yeah.
You put in his code when you signed up?
I don't know. I think he just texted us in a text thread, and we just kind of connected that way.
Gotcha. If you didn't put in the code Warrior when you created your profile.
Oh yeah, I think we did that.
Okay, cool. So now anything you do, right? You're a monthly subscriber. I believe are you a flat fee or are you a subscriber?
We are a subscriber at the moment.
Got you. So every single month that you stay a subscriber, he gets an affiliate commission off of you. It's a monthly recurring revenue thing. So if you were to be a flat fee person too, it'd be every single flat fee you got. And so we're able to, even what Peter Thiel and Elon did when they were starting PayPal. How do you get other people to promote your shit and talk about you? Give them money. You know what I mean? So
no, it's one thing I like about the platform is it is a subscriber base. So we are a volume company, so we could put as many as we want on there and pay our subscriber fee. Another thing too is I like how clean you guys have it. You guys definitely have it nice and organized. That's the kind of the modern way of doing things these days. Is keep your website super super simple, so that like a kindergartner or a second grader could maneuver around it, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we do it for even our websites. I always want to keep it super simplistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so let me ask you this now. So in this, as we move on, obviously we all got past the fourth quarter, the first 2 quarters of this year. What do your struggles look like now? Like, talk to me. What struggles do you got going on now with your real estate business?
Getting out of the hole we were at from fourth quarter and the first 2 quarters. We have a good amount of projected profit on the board now. We're getting some solid deals.
Nice.
The sellers that were stuck on price are starting to move. Because even with the MLS strategy, let me preface this.
Mm-hmm.
It does not mean you can lock up a deal that's only worth $500K for $1 million and it'll sell. You
Right.
still need it at a price that makes sense, but you don't need it at a steep discount where you're beating the seller over the head for their number.
But it still
And
needs to be at a
so,
discount. Yep.
yeah, and you know this too, being a subscriber. The cool thing about being a Top Brokerage subscriber is, with our bronze plan, it's 0.5%. With our silver plan, it's 0.25%. With our gold plan, it's 0.13%. To us, if there's any FMLS fees, like Georgia has a FMLS fee of 0.12%, you guys pay that, right? But it's only off stuff that connects. And so you're operating from revenue instead of operating from hoping for revenue, which is
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot better from being able to take a variable cost and turn it into a fixed expense.
Absolutely. So, what are your strategies now? It sounds like you're kind of getting through it. But what were your strategies to get through the interest rate spike, and who knows whatever is to come? But what were your strategies to get through it and to come out even better on the other side, stronger?
Part of my struggle was self-inflicted too, because I took my best sales guy and I moved him into dispo.
Hmm.
And so, in the last 3 weeks, moved him back into sales. We have 9 contracts. I stepped back into dispo. I got an assistant to help me with some of the day-to-day stuff. And so, and the access and the coordinating stuff that a VA could do. But she's local here. And so because of my decisions of, if I'm just going to be honest, trying to replace myself too fast in the business,
Yeah.
we struggled. And so, ain't nobody better to sell a deal than a broker that owns a brokerage in 40 states. And that's from how these agents look at it too. Because if they try to give me lip as another agent, that's cool. They can go back and forth. As a broker, you have a certain level of, no, this is how it's done. This is how we do deals. We have HUDs. We know what we're doing. I don't care what your broker told you. This is legal, and you need to understand, if you want this, this is what you're going to have to do. And so it was the highest return on time for me in the investment firm, and so I'm blessed I got an amazing team. I'm sure you've talked to Kyle. You haven't talked to Leighton, but just the team I have, to your point about this, the website looking clean and our operation being super organized. I have amazing people, and I realized that I made some wrong decisions in the investment firm because the brokerage was growing fine, but the investment firm was struggling a little bit. And so since then have changed those, and we're already seeing results from it. So, yeah.
Love it. Love it. And yeah, you definitely have a great team. There are some of the stuff that's coming in the works, such as expanding states. I know you're in a limited amount of states right now. What are your plans to get in the end? This way, I remember you texted me this, or you said over a call, but you said, "Hey, Aaron, we're going to be in like 40 something states at the end of the year." I mean, how are you going to make that happen?
Yeah, man. So I have an attorney that's a partner with me in the investment firm, and also have or in the brokerage, and also have another broker that's a partner with me. And so, our focus right now is incorporating in those states, applications being submitted for the brokerage firm, and once that's approved, we're ready to go. So I have him
Hmm.
and his team handling a lot of that stuff, so I can focus on, in the states we're in: Georgia, Texas, Alabama, South Carolina. It's going to be Louisiana here soon too. We can go really deep in terms of getting the right users, getting the right user base, and by the end of this year, we'll be in 40 states. By the end of 2024, we'll be in all 50. I'm trying to get into Puerto Rico too, so that's another one.
There you go.
The Jerry Norton way. And even I talked to Robert, dude, me and Robert got on a Zoom call, and just I'm very, very blessed as a young entrepreneur to have people that have gone places that I'm going, and
Hmm.
I'm going to get to. pour into me, whether it's the guys at Collective Genius that we know, Steve Trang's cool as shit, all those coaches. Ren is freaking awesome. Love that dude. He's a brother. And the list goes on. I'm sure there's a fuck ton of names I left off just then, but they knew who they are, and I'm blessed for the people that pour into me, because I would be nowhere without the people around me. And I'm blessed to have the vision, but sometimes as a visionary, you need the right team to be able to integrate that vision. And so that's a really big part of it too.
100%, 100%. One thing, too, obviously we got real estate events, wholesaling events, all these events that happen across the nation. Have you thought about just, sticking your neck out there and bugging the crap out of the one who's running them, so you could get into these events and start do the whole tent pitching thing? Say, hey, come check out our top brokerage, and start getting out to the people at all these events.
That's what we're going to start doing a lot more of. Getting out, going places, traveling. That is definitely,
oh, for sure.
Like that's the next step too, especially as we expand into different states, because we're in a day and age where you have to show face. Like, I don't like Grant Cardone is making content. Dude's a freaking billionaire. Grant Cardone is shaking hands. Dude's a freaking billionaire. And
did he get to the billion yet?
Huh?
Did he get to the billion?
I don't know if he got to the billion yet, but he's definitely on his way there, right? And so even Alex Hormozy, like, you got this guy that's doing content, been doing content for 3-4 years. It's a really solid business mind that you keep seeing him pop up on podcasts. You keep seeing like we're gonna start, to your point, the events. Me getting out more, shaking hands, meeting people, and sitting down is going to be what I need to do as the founder. And also, we have some. It's hard to outsource that piece, right? Because we can have our marketing and stuff, right? And we can have reps as we scale, and that's kind of a limiting belief that it's hard to outsource that. But you even look at what Jamil's job was with Keegley. You got Josiah, you have his other partner over there, but Jamil is the one out in the field, shaking hands, getting to know people, because you buy from people you like to. And yes, we're one of the most cost-effective means to distribution. But if you don't know exactly how we can serve you sometimes, or if you haven't heard from somebody how we can serve you, you're going to be like, well, what's the difference between this and that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, one thing we realized, so what I started this year were the two things that I really wanted to get really well at, and that was build a great culture and be a good leader. And that's why we did, and that's why we know Ren so well, because we hired him to help us with that. But the reason why I say that, so I want to throw it on an example, like PropStream, great company. We use them every day. Well, what's the guy's name? I don't know why. If he ever listens to this, he's gonna be like, "Why don't you know?" Because I know him personally, actually. But anyways, he's that guy who's always on the YouTube videos. Matter of fact, I'm going to get him on this podcast as well. But he's always out there promoting PropStream, and I thought he was the damn owner. He wasn't. He was just a guy who had so much passion about the product, the culture of PropStream. And that's kind of what I see with you, right? You as a CEO, right? What I would say is bring somebody along with you, promote. Then you're able to step back, build somebody with such a great culture, so that's such a culture fit, who loves the product and who's going to be that front face for it, right? We see that across a lot of different businesses. And Deal Machine's one of them. With what's her face? I just terrible at names today, and then. Even in front of my desk. So right outside my office, I have my TC. Her name's Victoria. She's a fantastic. She crushes it, and she's like my front face. So if like anybody had to ask me something, she's been with us for about a year now, and she knows everything. How I would answer something. She's totally built into the culture, and oh yeah, and she'll get on some of the guys. She's definitely a lion here. So. But anyways, that's what you need, man. You need a line out there as well. So
I'm gonna get a nice looking lady. I feel like that's a good way to promote businesses too. I don't know how my wife's gonna feel about that, but we're doing it for the business, so she's gonna get over it.
Well, what's funny is we have Facebook ads, so we're big on PPC and a little bit of Facebook. And the advice I got from Brandon Bateman's team was, your best marketing piece are going to be like the lady, and if there's a lady in the picture, you'll get more clicks. I thought it was pretty funny.
Sure.
All right, so let me ask you this, Niko. What have you read or listened to that just inspired you recently?
Ooh, Robert actually gave me 0 to 1 to read, which is really awesome, especially because of the brokers that we're building. And, it's even something that Jason and Leon have reiterated in CG, but just understanding what a company like PayPal, because, Elon and Peter, Elon owned his own company, X.com, and Peter owned PayPal. But they were in a position where they ended up merging because of where they were at in the market. And that's just one example of the many from the story. But we're building something that, the world hasn't really heard of. I've never heard of a subscription model brokerage before, right?
Not yet.
And exactly, right? So we're the first of our kind. And so with that being said, in order to not only be the first of your kind, but get that market share and stay on top and turn yourself into a legacy company, you have to be able to learn from people that have gone there. And so that's the book in terms of recent read. I don't recommend reading it if you're just getting started out in your business. It's more of a, hey, you already have stuff going. How do you scale? How do you bring this thing to where it can be? If somebody's just starting out listening to this podcast, go listen to How to Win Friends and Influence People and Never Split the Difference.
Yeah.
If you want to like it, understand negotiations. From a psychology standpoint, that's what you're going to need to be successful in this business. Whether you develop, flip, wholesale, I don't care what you do.
110%. How to Win Friends and Influence People is literally how I built my sales script. Great book. Read it today. It'll teach you how to just live life and interact with other people. All right, man. Niko, Top Brokerage is going to go places. I can't wait to see it. Where can we find you on social media if we want to reach out to you or even be a part of Top Brokerage?
Absolutely. So Nikhil Sharma on Instagram, NIKOSHARMA. If you want to go directly to topbrokerage.org, we have everything built up to where you, even without talking to me, can go ahead and create a profile. Aaron, let's get you set up with a code. So that way anybody that comes from you, we can make sure they have your code. And guys, put in Aaron's code. You're going to get 10% off of any of the subscription plans for the first 3 months.
It's going to be the real estate block.
Yeah. So I'll get you with Kyle. We'll get you set up with that. And so that's how people can find me. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. I do have my team out of there, so either me or them will respond to you. So that's Top Brokerage. Instagram is the best way to reach out, or if you just want to directly use the site, go directly to topbrokerage.org.
Awesome, brother. Well, again, thank you so much for your time to come on here and add some value and to get this business out there. Anyways, hey, we'll see you next time here at the Real Estate Block Podcast.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.